You see him on the news.
CNN.com contributor, Dean Obadala. So, Dean...
Watch him at comedy clubs.
When I say Mecca, do you think of a holy place or an urban clothing line?
Read his articles. And you hear him on the radio. The Dean Obadala Show is on live right here on SiriusXM Progress, Channel 127.
And welcome to the Dean Obadala Show, brothers and sisters of the resistance. Wednesday, January 30th. Lot to cover. All I can say is, to be a white male billionaire in America, not only do you get to run for president because you started a coffee company, but you get more press just thinking about running for president than the actual Democratic candidates of color and women who are actually running. What a country. Unreal. This is where we are. CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News and The View are falling all over Howard Schultz. And I don't care about him running for president, but we're going to go through it. He's using these platforms to attack Democrats in general, our policy ideas, and Democrats by name who are leading our party. So this is what's going on. But first, a little humor. Here's Jimmy Fallon. Here's a couple of late night comics taking on Howard Schultz. Here's first Jimmy Fallon last night on The Tonight Show. Clip number 1, please.
The 2020 presidential election is heating up, and former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz might run as an independent. Now some Democrats are threatening to boycott Starbucks.
Really?
Yeah. Then Starbucks said, oh, go ahead, the food in the display case will still be here when you get back. So don't worry about it. It just stays like that. You want a cake pop? Cake pop? Cake pop?
I don't know what a cake pop is either, but a good point. And then here is Trevor Noah last night making a really good point about the only person who wants Howard Schultz to run, besides Howard Schultz, of course. Here's clip number 2.
Democratic leaders don't want Schultz entering the race. It doesn't seem like Democratic voters want Schultz entering the race. But there is one person who definitely wants him in. The make-believe billionaire in the White House.
The president himself is taunting the potential third-party challenger, tweeting, Howard Schultz doesn't have the guts to run for president. Watched him on 60 Minutes last night, and I agree with him that he is not the smartest person.
Overnight, President Trump told the crowd at a fundraiser at the Trump Hotel here that he was trying to get Howard Schultz into the race with his earlier tweet because the president thinks it will help him. That's according to the New York Times.
Trump is so smooth, man. Huh? Tries reverse psychology on Howard Schultz and then tells everyone he's doing reverse psychology. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him he shouldn't run, folks, but it's only a trick to get him in the race. It's like psychology, but in reverse. I'm thinking of calling it upside down magic talk.
Upside down magic talk makes actual sense. So here's where we are today. And I didn't really talk about Howard Schultz much yesterday, but today he was on Morning Joe. He was on CNN, he was on Fox News, he was on ABC's The View. And let's be clear, he's not formally running for president yet. He's on there, and what is he doing in appearance after appearance? I'm going to play some clips for you. He is attacking the Democrats. He's trying to contribute to a media narrative. The Democratic Party of today is so radical. We're so out there. Oh, we're socialists, we're communists, we're Venezuela. Literally mimicking the lines from the right to try to create a media narrative that we are out of touch. And he went after Kamala Harris. He went after Liz Warren on numerous occasions. I'll play back-to-back clips on 2 different channels, like talking points to go after Liz Warren. And why would cable news give him so much coverage? Because everybody who thinking of running for president wants to go on cable. I don't blame Howard Schultz for saying things on TV. This is he gets on, he can say what he wants. The question is, why is cable news giving Howard Schultz a platform to attack Democrats? Why is he doing that? And I have to think back to 2016 and this infamous quote by Les Moonves, who is at the time was the president and CEO of CBS News, talking about Donald Trump and what Donald Trump meant to CBS. And I think it's kind of relevant. Let's hear clip 3.
Man, who would have expected the ride we're all having right now? This is pretty amazing. And, who would have thought that this circus would come to town? But, it may not be good for America, but it's damn good for CBS. That's all I got to say. So what can I say? It's, the money's rolling in, and the polls are open. This is fun.
The money is rolling in. And that was all about Donald Trump, by the way. That entire thing was Donald Trump might not be good for America, but he's good for CBS. Here is the most cynical view as to why they're putting him on TV. Well, the real view is that it's for ratings. We all know that. That's not debatable. These are for-profit companies. They have an obligation to their shareholders to try to make as much money as possible. That's their mandate. That's who they are. There's no disputing that. Here's the cynical view, the most cynical view, and I could be wrong. The cable news media want Donald Trump to win re-election. And I'll be blunt. Why? And you just heard Les Moonves in 2016. The money is rolling in. And Donald Trump has even said, one of his few honest moments, cable news loves me. Media loves me. The ratings have boomed for Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC during the time of Trump. Before Trump ran for office, I recall Jeff Zucker, the head of CNN, in interviews saying that the pie for cable news audience is shrinking and we must think of other ways to make money. Just doing news is not going to work. And that's why he was commissioning all these shows, not just Anthony Bourdain, but a whole list, Kamau Bell, and these kind of travel shows and everything. And down goes the escalator, Donald Trump. And everything changed. You know, I've recently spoken to producers at cable news networks. I will not say what networks. And we've talked about this, the idea of Donald Trump. And they have, as friends, said to me, you know, if Trump loses, ratings go down, and there's going to be layoffs here. So think about it that way. It's not this kind of ideological view. It's the sense that I might actually lose my job if Donald Trump doesn't get reelected. Not me, of course. I'm talking about people in cable news because they've been doing so well. So yes, this is the most cynical view, and I could be wrong. And maybe it's just short-term little, they like him on cable because he's bad-mouthing Democrats, and it sounds great. But I will tell you this, we just had, Senator Harris announced over the weekend. We had Senator Warren making great policy positions out there, talking about tax issues. And none of that is really getting the coverage. It's getting more of the coverage of Howard Schultz attacking the Democrats. And it's not like he's running on his agenda. He's not like running on his accomplishments. He's not going like, you know what? Iced Frappuccino. That was me. Come on. I'm the guy. I brought you iced Frappuccino. Mochaccino. I thought of that. Elect me president. Nope, that's not that. But here he is. First of all, here he is on Fox News this afternoon, where he belongs on Fox News, frankly, talking to Dana Perino, clip number 4.
You have managed to do something that only Donald Trump has been able to do, and that is unite the Democrats against you. And it's almost like they're trying to snuff out the spark of your campaign before it could even get started. Are the Democrats overwrought? It's like they've had like a triple macchiato on an empty stomach.
I think the Democrats need a little bit less caffeine right now, is what I think.
So somebody else who pays a lot of attention to the stock market is Elizabeth Warren, and she had something to say about you and Michael Bloomberg last night. She said billionaires like Howard Schultz and Michael Bloomberg want to keep a rigged system in place that benefits only them and their buddies, and they plan to spend gobs of cash to try and buy the presidency to keep it that way. She says, not on my watch. What do you say to that?
I find that so offensive. First of all, Elizabeth Warren doesn't know me. I mean, I started from nothing. I'm self-made. Isn't that the promise of America, that regardless of your station in life or where you come from, that you can be successful in this country? I also think it's ludicrous. Elizabeth Warren, a number of years ago, knocked on my door and asked me for money when she was running for the Senate. So it's somewhat duplicitous, isn't it?
Did you donate?
No, I did not.
To Elizabeth Warren?
No, I did not.
So Liz Warren knocked on my door. Listen to him on Morning Joe this morning, and you might hear an interesting same type of story there. And you might realize this is a talking point campaign by Howard Schultz. Here's clip number 5.
Do you think Elizabeth Warren's a serious person on taxes?
I think she's a serious person, yes. Yeah. She came to see me a few years ago and asked me for a contribution for her Senate race.
Did you give it to her?
I did not.
Okay.
Why?
Wow.
I don't believe what Elizabeth Warren stands for. I don't believe the country should be heading to socialism.
You think she's a socialist?
I think she believes in programs that will lead to a level of socialism in America.
So there you heard, talking point. 2 different networks, hours apart. Liz Warren came to me to try to get money. So he's going after Liz Warren, first and foremost. He's also going after Kamala Harris and Medicare for All. He called it not American. And then on CNN, he took it even broader, going after the entire Democratic Party and trying to help a media narrative that the right wants to paint, that we are so out of touch, that we are radicals, that we want socialism, as you just heard him say right there. So here is Howard Schultz on CNN today, where he talked about Democrat Party. He hasn't changed, but we have moved to the left and we're crazy radicals. Clip number 6.
When did you stop being a Democrat?
I think I started I think the party started losing me when the party started shifting so far left to progressive policies that I know in my heart are as false, and I say this with respect, but it's true, as false as President Trump telling the American people when he was running for president that the Mexicans were going to pay for the wall.
When did we move this far left? When did that happen? Right after Hillary Law? When did we move this far left? We have people who have an aspirational message about what the Democratic Party is supposed to stand for. They're running on that. We have not moved. This is not like policy's been enacted. We have only had the House for a few weeks. Before that, we were completely shut out of the federal government for the last few years. We have not moved as a party. This is a BS talking point. And this is how media narratives get created, folks. So now you're going to hear it over and over, and it seeps in. People keep hearing it. The Democrats have gone too far to the left. Howard Schultz was a Democrat all his life. I like his coffee. But if he says it, you know, I love Frappuccinos, he's got to be right. But this is a media narrative being created by Howard Schultz, and the media is emboldening him to do that. And then he went on CNN with Poppy Harlow, and listen more as he attacks three big policy issues that many Democrats are embracing. Clip number 7.
Well, if you add up the three policies that seem to be the backbone of the current Democratic Party, in terms of the 2020 process, it's free Medicare, free health care for everybody, free college degree, and a job for everybody. And that adds up to about $40 trillion in 10 years. Well, that's not going to happen on the foundation of a $21 trillion debt. So it's not true.
Howard Schultz actually is a politician because that was a lie. There's no Democrat promising a job for everyone. No one's promising free Medicare, free health insurance for anyone. We're going to pay with it through our taxes or premiums. And no one's saying free education for everyone. We're talking about it in a way and discussing it in an aspirational way. But there is Howard Schultz trying to paint the Democratic Party. Even if he doesn't run, he is trying to hurt the Democratic candidates. He's trying to hurt the Democratic Party. There's no doubt about that. You hear nothing about what I'm going to do as president. I'm just not going to be as radical as the Democrats, and I'm not going to be a bigot and a racist like Donald Trump. And that's the truth. He's not spewed any bigotry or racism. He is different than Trump. But that's all he is. And, you know, Michael Bloomberg, who's running as a Democrat, he slammed Liz Warren, too, about her tax plan, which we'll talk about later with Amanda Marcotte from Salon at the top of the hour, who wrote a great article about it. But Bloomberg said Liz Warren's system, he says, you want to tax the wealthiest people like that? It's called Venezuela. So there's Bloomberg giving people the same right-wing talking point. But at least Bloomberg's going to run as a Democrat, and he's going to lose horribly as a Democrat. And then I think he'll unite. But still, he might do some damage because now you got him also furthering the narrative that we want Venezuela. No, we want an America that we think you, all of us, left and right, deserve, where healthcare should be a right. We are the only industrialized nation that does not have healthcare as a right. We believe, as progressives, that if you have an aptitude and an ambition to go to college, but you can't afford it, we should help you. Same thing for college or vocational school. I don't know where Howard Schultz gets a job for everyone. No one's talked about that, but that would be great. Everyone gets a job, but if you have an education, you have healthcare, you can go apply for a job and get a job. And why is the mainstream media trying to help? If you subscribe to my cynical view that cable news media wants Donald Trump to win because it's good for business, why are they doing it now? Well, Donald Trump's ratings right now, his approval ratings and disapproval ratings, are horrific. They are horrific. This week, in 538, there's a great thing on polls. I look at it every day. Today, we're 741 days into the Trump regime. It's not even an administration, the regime. 741 days. Donald Trump today has the highest disapproval rating of any modern day president at 56%. Even Jimmy Carter, who lost re-election at 741 days and only had a 41% disapproval rating. That's how bad Trump's numbers are. I'm not even kidding. The closest president to Trump in terms of disapproval at this point in his presidency was Ronald Reagan. And that's because we were in the heart of a recession with a 10% unemployment rate. They are worried. An ABC poll came out yesterday. 56% of Americans say, quote, they wouldn't consider voting for Trump. They wouldn't even consider voting for Trump. 56%. If you're going to see a blowout in 2020, that doesn't help them. If you lose Donald Trump, it doesn't help them. There are people who have their jobs and their families on the line working in TV. I completely understand it. I'm empathetic and compassionate to that. But that's also the motivation for some of this, in my view. And I'm open to any suggestion. It could be a short-term blip. But you see the media narratives, and I always tell people, be aware of the media narratives. They shift quickly, but they all suck up. They all do it together. Right now, the media narrative is the progressives are fighting amongst each other. I was just talking to Michelangelo right before he left. The Chiron on MSNBC. Democrats split on Medicare for all. No, we're not at all. 85% of Democrats, I just wrote about it over the weekend, 85% of Democrats want Medicare for all. There's no split. Howard Schultz is not part of our party, and he's saying it's irresponsible and non-American. And Michael Bloomberg, too. He's part of Democrats. He's got no traction. We want Medicare for all. How we get there, we can discuss that. That'll be details. Will it be abolishing insurance companies over time? Unlikely, but it's possible. Will it be more like Senator, Sherrod Brown in Ohio, where you first allow people to be eligible for Medicare for all at 55, where everyone gets eligible, and little by little you responsibly expand that? That's more likely. And I think ultimately, Kamala Harris, Liz Warren, Cory Booker, Gillibrand have all embraced Medicare for all. Probably would go along with it. Bernie Sanders, you do it over time. That's not what Howard Schultz is about, though. Howard Schultz is not about a nuanced discussion. Howard Schultz's job here is to trash the Democrats, to paint us as extreme radicals. We want to turn America into Venezuela. And they're doing this now when instead the media coverage should be of the Democratic candidates and what they stand for. Not attacks by someone who's not part of our party who happens to have a coffee shop. A lot of coffee shops, albeit, but coffee shops. And it disgusts me because I'm watching the media narrative play out and it reminds me of 2016. But in 2016, I didn't know how destructive and dangerous it was because I never thought, like most people, that Trump would actually win. So now I'm much more attuned to it. And I could see from friends on Twitter and on Facebook, you see it as well. So maybe I'm going too far saying they want Trump to win because it's good for business. But they want to see the Democrats getting beaten up. And I can assure you of this, because I heard this at CNN from a very high-ranking person in 2016, and I can't say their name, who was concerned when the gap between Hillary and Trump was growing in September, that people were going to tune out. And then the gap got closer, and they were happy after the James Comey letter. That's the truth. That is the hard truth. These are businesses. Print media, some are different, some are not. Certainly the Washington Post, while they want clicks, Jeff Bezos doesn't care. He's making tons of money. I don't think the New York Times just is about clicks. I think they're about journalism. I think print media is in general different. But I'm telling you, cable news, I have such a love-hate relationship with it. I like so many people on it. And don't forget, by the way, these are the executives who are the ones making the decisions, like how to make the most money for the networks. The anchors are told or suggested what to do. That's how it works. So let's take a break. Come back. I'd love to hear from you. 866-997-4748. Walk me off the ledge. Is it not this cynical, conspiratorial approach? Is it not that they want Trump to win re-election? Is it just a blip to have fun? Because I'm watching the cable channels. They're all talking about Howard Schultz right now. It's continuing. And you're going to hear this drumbeat that we are out of touch. We're radicals. We want to destroy America. And if we don't fight that, Donald Trump gets reelected on November 3rd, 2020. Let's take a break. Come right back. Love to hear from you. 866-997-4748.
The Dean Obeidallah Show.
I think Trump clips that they play on the media should come with a health warning saying that if you watch this, you'll get dumber. Never has somebody said so much stupid